Kayla Kate here, and wanted to talk to you today about how your team measures success. Obviously, in business, there's a lot of ways that we can measure success with money, growth, profits, productivity, performance. But oftentimes, when I go into teams, I'm looking for specific people focus, relational focus, team focus areas of success based around trust, based around communication that really predict long term growth, sustainability, your ability to keep low turnover, things like that. And so, if you know me, you know I love sports. And one of the quotes in the sports world is based on how they measure success is saying that you are what your record says you are. So if you have 20 wins and 6 losses, you're doing pretty good. But it's basically how sports measure success is the win loss column, more or less. And so they are what the record says they are. And so in business and with your team, I often like to say you are who your team shows up to be. So if you think of you as a leader and your team as the mirror in which your leadership kind of gives influence to, you are who your team shows up to be. And so it speaks to something about your leadership, your influence. And so if you think about your team and you're kind of holding them up to a mirror to you, what is that saying about your leadership? If you have people on your team that show up chronically late, what does it say about your ability to enforce accountability? If you have a lot of tension, ongoing tension, constant conflict maybe with your team, what does it say about your ability to dive in and to deal with conflict and to build greater trust about your team? And so oftentimes, you might have toxic people, you might have people that kind of skew the mirror a bit, but overall, it can give you a great insight into how am I doing at influencing my team? How am I doing at communicating, doing the things that create that type of environment of success, which says you are who your team shows up to be. And so, who do you want your team to be? What kind of dynamics do you want your team to function in? And what kind of leadership, therefore, do you need to provide them that? And so, whereas I love the sports analogy where it's black and white, the win loss column, sometimes teams dynamics get a little bit muddy, but this to me often can be a good indicator of your level of leadership where you need to grow in your influence to say you are who your team shows up to be. So something to think about. And as always, keep sending me your feedback, your thoughts for future videos. And until next time.